folks, I'm a long way from home. I'm in Idaho, and I've been doing my dealer visits for Boondocks. I think where we left off with the Clear Lake adventure with the Brandons. I moved north and did more dealer visits in all throughout Northern California, all the way through Oregon. Did a beautiful drive up the I think it's called the Umpqua River Valley, and eventually made my way up to the to Next Adventure, where I met with Brandon Waugh, and he's gonna join me on this one. Brandon's the social media marketing manager, I think that's his title, for Next Adventure. Great shop in Portland, and he and Matt Walker actually work up at the Scappoose Bay store, which is a little bit north of Portland. But yeah, met with them, went over some gear, and basically he's gonna join me. He had to work half a day. I came up last night and drove up the Columbia River Valley. Man, is that gorgeous. That's where I fished last year with Jameson Redding and Brandon. He took us to some really great spots for some river smallmouth a year ago. But that valley kind of transitions into this kind of area where it's very lush and green, and big bouldery mountains on either side of this kind of canyon type, super wide valley. I mean, the Columbia makes the Susquehanna look like a baby. It's huge. Lock and dam situation, you know, where they have commerce. They have these barges. I think the Columbia has the most inland ports in the nation, because it's such a big river, and they're able to get that commerce going up. But came up to Moscow, Idaho, where NRS is based. Got to visit this morning with Mike Dolmage, who's he's the head guy for any of the fishing products with NRS, and I got to show him some boondock stuff and look at their approach raft, and looked at some other stuff. But it was just good visiting with those folks. I did pick up a couple things at their flagship store, just for my own camp cooking type stuff. I needed a few things. I really haven't done that much of camp cooking since the Boy Scouts. So they had a few things. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get something at least to reheat my cans of chili, and maybe heat up a cup of coffee or something. We'll see. I may need it, because right now I'm headed from Moscow up to Dworshak Reservoir, where Brandon and I are gonna fish for smallmouth. And it's been bright and sunny and beautiful and no rain for like the whole 3 weeks of this trip, and I'm driving up here and there's precipitation. It seems like it's right on the edge of it being snow. So we're gonna have colder weather than I've had, which is I'm good with. I got the drifter hammock. I'm gonna set that up in here in a little bit, in the underquilt. I know I can handle it, thanks to doing this up near Erie and near Raystown, and colder conditions than this. So, but this elevation, yeah, it's different. It is not what we had at Clear Lake, where these fish were spawning and post-spawn. I think we're solidly pre-spawn up here in this higher elevation in Dworshak Reservoir. Hoping to get into some real big smallmouth. I've kind of watched it for years and known that like they're producing some giants up here, so should be exciting few days. For sure the weekend. It's Friday. I'm gonna set up camp. Brandon's gonna join me probably late tonight, because I think it's like a 8 or 9. Is it that far? It's a lot of driving, even from Portland to this part of Idaho. But I'm excited to get started fishing in the morning. Should be a fun adventure. think we got the first glimpse of it right here. Oh yeah. Oh, it's pretty. So everything here is up and down and left and right. Been on these logging roads for a long time. I think the last 45 minutes, and I still got 10 or 15 minutes to get to where we're going. But as you get closer, you can't rush it. A lot of these treacherous drop-offs right on the outside bends. It seems like the prevailing activity out here is to come out here, camp somewhere, and it seems like it's anywhere. And bring your side-by-sides and run around in your side-by-sides, which is, I don't know, it seems like it's a lot of fun. Seems like people were doing it on this Friday afternoon heading into the weekend are enjoying themselves ripping around in those fun machines with big knobby tires. And yeah, it's you can't be in a rush and get out here. So I'm guessing, I don't know, that looks like a fork that goes one direction and this is in the other. Lots of tiny little coves. Gosh, Dworshak Reservoir looks gorgeous. I can't wait to get down there, get my stuff ready, and get in the water. All right, I'm out here. It's pretty breezy. I'm gonna make my way across. The wind is coming from that direction, so I'm gonna go to that mountain, hoping it's a wind block. I've gone ahead and set up camp for myself. Brandon's coming a little bit later. He should be there 8:30, 9 o'clock. I said I'm gonna do a shakedown cruise, just get things sorted out here. So usually when you see numbers like that, your depth finder's malfunctioning. But that looks too much like that hillside to it looks like that actually happens. So almost 500 feet. Oh, interesting. So we're definitely going to get near the shoreline and do some fishing, because I don't think I'm going to catch a smallmouth at 462 feet. So we got a wind-blown point. I always love throwing a crankbait on a wind-blown point. So about 18 feet here. I'll kind of quarter that in. There's a fish. That's a smallmouth on a crankbait in this somewhat shallower looking, first Idaho smallmouth. I wonder how much of their diet is craw. Oh, chunky dude, probably 15 inches. That feels good. All right, we made a beeline across from the ramp to this area, and you got some shallower, that light blue in this area. There's a whole bunch of it around the corner. I don't know whether it makes sense to keep going in that direction around this point out here. I got sort of limited time today, or whether I want to backtrack and hit that creek. Let's I don't know. I am interested in the creek. We're gonna hit a lot of creeks, but let me just continue to work this way, and once I get out on that point, and I'm gonna put the crankbait back on, I'll make a decision whether my remaining time this afternoon is going to be spent in this shallow light blue area right there, which is around the corner, or whether I'm going to backtrack and hit a creek, see what the creeks are about. So clearly they logged the reservoir before they filled it up. So stumps. Stumps might be important. There's some big ones out in this little shallow bay. It's funny that I'm a third of the cast offshore, maybe even just a quarter, and I'm in 10 feet, and I'm considering it a shallow bay. All right on that first point. Yeah, I'm gonna boat flip you. This is as soon as I got to the area where the light blue started. And I love fishing crankbaits with only one hook. Got the quad hook there, and you know, I didn't mind boat flipping that thing and bringing it up to my face. That's not a fish. That's part of that stump. Always feels good when it loads up though. So that fish was somewhere near this stump out here. I'm gonna swing wide and just poke around at it, see if he's got buddies. But you know, so far I've found 2 fish. I have not found concentrations of fish in, you know, that's really what you hope for when you power fish and just try to, you know, find a whole bunch of them. And this is the time of year when you really can do that because they're spawning and they're getting ready to. Thinking that creek needs to be where I'm taking my remaining time today. Not much of it, and spend some time there. But we'll see. This is kind of a transition though between the that shallow flat and the really steep area. This is right on the edge of it. So this is another shallow area as I approach the creek. I got the mag draft going, and I had one tag it. As soon as I pulled up, I threw it across there, and it was one of those, hey, I'm gonna mess with this, but I'm not gonna eat it. All right, so we're entering the creek. It was a nice flat leading into it. A lot of flooded grass. A lot of grass in the water, just from the wave action. You know, pulling up stuff that's, I think there's a lot of this that was totally out of the water, growing terrestrial vegetation. And I guess the river goes up and down, and they release or they don't release, and it all impacts what these fish are doing. And I really don't know, other than right now it's pretty high. Had a mishap with my Visi Carbon Pro. I caught a crankbait on it, and I pulled it out to like bring it in, get the crankbait out, and it had loosened up, and the top and both batteries went dunk into the water. So I have no light, so the camp and the ramp are right there. So it's time to get off the water, keep my head on a swivel for some of the power boats out here. But you know, good, I think it was 2.5 hours to at least get patterns going. I went up in where that is a creek right there. I think I had one nibbling on a jig. I came back out and I put the forward facing sonar down, and there's flooded brush on that left side going in. I definitely saw a big fish in that flooded brush. So that's going to be something that'll play into what I'm thinking about overnight, you know, going into tomorrow. How are we going to work that flooded brush? Because there's a lot of it. All right, Brandon's showing us how he camps. You got a truck cap?
Yep. So nice thing is this truck came with a commercial canopy, so I have this box on the side, so I can stick a whole bunch of stuff on the side. Throw usually like my rain gear and stuff that's like wet after a long day.
So you have like a hatch there?
It's on the outside actually.
Oh really?
It's probably a little hard to see, but
here I can.
Like I have my NRS boots, my AFCO ankle deck boots, keeping that. Usually like after a wet day I'll just throw stuff in here to make sure that everything inside the bed is dry. So plenty of stuff that can go in here.
Very cool.
But inside, I mean, new deck system. I just got this a couple months ago. Been loving it. Just to house just a whole bunch of stuff. Got all my cooking stuff, jet boil and all that. Extra rod or extra reels, line. rod gloves, pretty much just a whole bunch of stuff. And then with the dividers and stuff, keep a bunch of cooked stuff in the back. Extra torpedo kill switch, extra prop, can never leave without those. And then tackle boxes, extra torpedo battery. And then usually I have a whole bunch more stuff, but this trip packed pretty light, nothing too crazy. Can hold 200 pounds worth of gear. And then over here is like electronics type stuff, extension cords, torpedo battery chargers, got some drills, Dakota lithium chargers for all my batteries, extra miscellaneous stuff, alcohol to obviously clean our identifiers, and then extension cords, got all the plugs for all the RV sites that we go to, 50 amp, 30 amp, and they're all 3-way plugs too, so charging like multiple batteries that all of our kayaks have. It's nice to have that. And then just tools and all that stuff. This bin down here is just a bunch of extra cam straps just in case, because we can never have enough. Dude wipes, gotta keep a set of those.
Right.
But in here, I mean, little twin size memory foam mattress. It's like a 4 or 5 inch. I've had this for years and it's totally comfortable enough on the road, keeps me warm. Got a king size little blanket that's Sherpa lined, 2 pillows, and then in the way back to charge like my watch, my phone and stuff, Dakota lithium 60 amp power box. Got that this year from Stormy, and man, that thing has been a blast. Dual purpose, you can obviously jump my truck if I wanted to, and now obviously it has an inverter. But got my AFCO duffel bag that houses my clothes, just sits under there. And then of course we got our drive for our OV360 Torpedo 1103. Those just stay right there, they're safe, they're not going to bounce around. And then my deck system, I ended up buying the rubber mat just to keep everything from sliding around and protect it.
Very cool setup, man. And you stay pretty warm?
Oh yeah. This thing,
you don't think it needs any
No.
HVAC?
No, the body heat warms it up pretty good. And I also did gaskets all around. So this is like a part of all of our trucks that always seems to have a gap. So I sealed it up all around here, all around my canopy. I resealed it so there's no air coming in and out.
Huh.
And it's plenty of circulation. And then tucked up way in the corner, I actually have this Amazon fan for those warm days just to get some circulation in there. And that just plugs right into the power box.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice setup. Gets the job done. No expense for lodging, which is really nice. A lot of times when I travel down to California, pull in the rest area, I just jump in here and nothing to set up. Ready to go fish a tournament. All I do is just close the tailgate, close the canopy, ready to go on the road. So quick and easy.
Alright, well, let's get some sleep so we can
go catch some giant smallmouth tomorrow.
Exactly.
Starting day at Dworshak. Bucket list for the both of us.
Yep.
Let's go see if we can find some personal bests.
All those rocks, and then whoosh, drop off out into the abyss. So we are starting off. I'm gonna loop around and we'll chat with Brandon a little bit about what our game plan is. He's pointing his camera at me. I'm pointing my camera at him.
What's going on?
Camera on camera. So you've done a little bit of map research. Last night you pulled up our chart and looks like you got an idea where we can find enough shallow water.
Yeah, so last night I pulled up my Navionics and kind of just looked around with the contours looking for areas with blue. That's going to be all shallow water. And one thing I didn't look at last night, one thing I like to do is I run Navionics on this one and I run Lowrance Sea maps on that, because every map chip you hear guys talk about, some maps show a little bit more than the rest, so I like to study both maps. And it actually shows some more stuff on there that this mapping didn't show. So we're gonna look at both of them and try to target some shallow areas. This place gets about 800 feet deep in some parts, so we definitely want to stay away from that and look for those flats, those points where those fish are going to move up. Right now I'm getting, let's see, water temp, 53 degrees water temp. So I mean, this is full pre-spawn for these smallmouth, and I think with this nice sunny day and it's going to be warm, I think they're going to be pushing up. I think there's probably fish on beds. So that's gonna be the goal for today. Try to find those big females moving up.
Cool. Well, let's go find what you identified last night.
Sounds good.
Make a run. All right, so we're starting with this gradual taper bank here. Basically, it comes down to, is there soil on it or is there rock on it? If it's rock, it's steep. If there's soil, you're probably gonna have some of the vegetation like what you see right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put my 360 unit in there, come off the Torpedo, kind of come in soft if I can. Right. Haven't totally got all my buttons dialed in, but you know, here comes some 360. Get some rocks out here. I mean, that's what the bank looks like. It's soil. And, somewhere we're gonna find some of this vegetation coming out, and we're gonna let this little wiggle pickle go through there.
Not that big. Oh, that's the one I got it.
Alright, Brandon's on the board.
Little jerk shads.
Nice.
Not what we came here for, but we gotta break the ice one way or another.
So tell me what you saw some better fish, huh?
Yeah, so this lake is a full kokanee, and some of them are much smaller, like 3 to 4 inches, and then obviously the much larger, like 12 to 15 inches. And I saw a school that came by on active target, and there were 3 big blobs just chasing it down, and they were so quick that I can't even keep up with them. Huh. But I think, I mean, that's the main forage, and that's why those fish get so big here. So kind of got to keep an eye out for that. I think that's going to be...
They were near the surface, though?
Yeah, they were probably suspended, I don't know, 8 feet below the surface in like 20 feet of water.
All right, in the shallow flooded brush, I saw 2 fish, 2 smallmouth, not big ones, 2.5 pound maybe. Come up and just kiss it. So that's in perspective mode or scout, I forget what they call it. But the transducer isn't like this, it's like this, and it's scanning out like this. And this is the hull. It's either the hull or, alright, there was something off to the side. It could be the, I bet you it's the Mirage Dog. But it's some part of the boat. I still don't know what I'm doing with this. Alright, so there's the big following smallmouth behind the Kokanee. Cast. So I'm using the forward-facing sonar in landscape mode, which instead of having the transducer facing sort of out where you pan it this way, or down where it's I just snagged the bottom with my trolling rod. I got too close. It's turned sideways like this. I gotta go get my snag. And in doing that, you get to see fish that are kind of cruising out, and I'm hoping to see I did see a group of the kokanee. I didn't get the the camera going fast enough to film it. I did get two or three of the stragglers. I don't want to say stragglers. They were smallmouth chasing the kokanee, and they were hanging back behind it. If I can see more of those, I can target them with the mag draft. But in the meantime, I'm just trolling. You know, up shallow in that flooded grass, we're seeing smallmouth, but they're small ones. The big ones are out, and usually off of a point or some flooded area of brush. They're in the area, but I'm gonna see if I can capture it on this landscape version. So GoPro's back there just doing whatever it wants. Beep, beep, beep. What? I didn't tell you to do anything. What'd you get that on?
Little jerk shads.
Okay.
The Mickey rig, strolling rig. Cold.
How deep you think?
12 feet, maybe?
Yeah. Which is shallow.
Just haven't seen any absolute giants recently, though. It's kind of weird.
I'm telling you, I saw on, like you said you saw them, and then I went and changed it to the landscape mode, and like it couldn't have been more obvious, and I'm just kicking myself for not actually hitting record on the button.
Yeah, it seems like those bigger ones might be the kokanee chasers.
Yeah. So we're making a run. We're out in the middle, over 400 and some feet, and you just pointed out, I don't think I'm going to see it again, but kokanee flipping at the surface. We're actually headed towards this point that comes way out, little creek there next to it. A lot of blue, a lot of light blue. That's what we're looking for. All right, 60. Scanning. Do you?
Yeah, I'm nothing around it though.
Point.
A little bit over here. 20 feet in front of me. 20 feet below the surface. Okay, toss right in front of us.
Yep, there's some.
See something suspended.
There.
20 feet below.
Those guys. Oh yeah. Right, that's pointed out there.
There. Top of the point.
See how they're in a not so dense group? They're not being chased. You know, if they were in a tighter group, let me move this. Get centered on them. If they were in a tighter group, it would look like there's a smallmouth trying to eat them. But they're right off of this point. There's a point behind me, comes out here. Well, at least I'm finding the kokanee. It's not like this morning where I saw that one group and there was just big dark marks right behind him. Alright. My finesse has all been craw, craw, craw. First time I fish a minnow based. You know, something happens, so. Maybe that's just it. They're all about the bait fish. Little guy. You know, just feels good to get something going there. 4-inch scented jerk shad on a hook I made myself with a grip pin hook. Basically, it's a belly weighted hook. All right, let's do the forward-facing sonar and look at some features. So we got a bush over there. We're currently panned that way. We're going to move in this direction and see panning. There. That's the bush. Pointed right at it. The stumps have been real kind of fun to see. These are just this kind of boulder stuff that's like sliding down. I don't know if I'm going to see stumps in this area, but let's see if we can find a fish. Yeah. Okay, here's a guy. Here's one. I'm going to cast. He's 40 feet out in that direction. I'm going to put the camera down. Just cruising along the bank. And definitely used the side imaging. Not the side imaging, the forward facing. And alright, decent. Not a dink. I'll just say not a dink. It is sort of fun to see him on the forward. Put a bait in there for him and have it work. It definitely had to sit on the bottom though. See you guys. Big old school of kokanee, if I can get on them again. There they are. Now, are they being messed with? No, they're not. They're kind of spread out. They're not a real tight. Oh, there's another one. That one's a little tighter. Interesting. I'm just panning this side by side to find them. Huh. Yeah, that's a tighter group. That's a more nervous group than the other one. So they're off at this point. You get this point that comes out, and I'm gonna fish this a while. I don't necessarily need to always have my hand on this, but we're in an area. Like I caught one there, kokanee out there. The other one's sort of behind me. Yeah, let's fish here a while. All right, nothing else on that point. That one just jumped right there, mocking me. Next, we're gonna actually see if we can follow the bait out there, which is gonna help in terms of being able to, know what your bait, know what the fish is, and then actually watch the fish interact with your bait to know, hey, I did this, that's when they ate, I did this and this and this and this and the other thing, and they refused all those things. Really enlightening to help you with the nuances of your presentation, to watch them interact with your bait. Let's see if I can pull this off. All right, that's my bait right there, dropping, and I pulled it up. It hopped. There. Pull it up. Boom. Hops. I don't know if that's showing up. I'm gonna let it drop a little bit more. We're gonna let it drop to the bottom. Probably not. Give it a yank. Oh, that helps. The reflection of the sky does not help. All right, boom. And dropping. I'm gonna pull it in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. So you get the idea. To be able to follow it and know, hey, that is my bait. Certain baits are better than others at showing up on there. I think they designed hard baits specifically for it, but I'm doing it with soft plastic, so once you get it dialed in, look for your bait and look for fish interacting with it. About the same size. Honestly, just to get the practice, seeing marks, putting a bait on them. and definitely got a bait they want. I just cast at that guy. He came up. He was middle water column. Usually it's clear enough, they're gonna see it. See the scented jerk shad get to the bottom. And they'll sit there and stare at it. So sometimes it doesn't matter so much that you lay it right on the fish you see. If you're seeing fish, just start casting, because there's going to be others that you do not see. All right, I've been cruising for a little while, running up, I think it's the Elk Creek, Elk River. Brandon went the other way. He said he got an 18 and a 16. I think he said he got the 18 on a mag draft. He did it once the wind picked up a little bit and hit, wind was blowing on a point. So wind blown points. We'll see. I got one up here. Maybe I'll pull up and throw the mag draft a little bit. Gone back far enough that this is Elk Creek and it splits here, and that is Long Meadow Creek. I think I want to work the corners on all of it. Having had that, I think he was probably 19-inch fish, really nice. He came out and just T-boned it. I don't know how I didn't poke him. I think I may have been on the torpedo moving too fast and couldn't reel fast enough to really dig into him. Made it all the way to the back. Kind of becomes a creek here again. Seen much in the way of a shaky head. So I got the mag fatties and green pumpkin. Give that a go. You like the mag fatties? That's a more significant fish. Not a giant, but a better one. Paddle is tucked away. I'm a paddler. This is weird. I committed to the Mirage Drive today. I've used it some, but now I'm here with definite need for the paddle, and it's not where I need it. All right, it's getting late, and I talked to some nice folks at the back. They're fishing out of a V-hull, and they're staying at the same place, and they're like, how'd you get back here? I'm like, this? And they were surprised. They were like, yeah, it's 6 miles. I'm like, all right, well, so I'm doing 2 mile, 2.9, 3 mile an hour. I got 2 hours at this. I'm gonna go a little faster. I got a second batter. I still got 55%. Let's see. Let's crank it up to, let's at least go 5.
Well, guys, Chest GoPro is dead, but we ran back across the lake. Campground's just over there. We're gonna start on this point that we fished this morning, kind of work our way back. So audio might be pretty bad just because I won't have this, but at least you guys can still see some fish catches. Let's see if we can get a few more. Come on, be a big one. Come on. Yep. Oh my god. Yeah, boy. I think that's it, guys. I think that's the personal best we've been waiting for. Holy crap. Wind-blown point textbook. Yeah. Check out that pig. Yeah, boy. How big's that one? That gotta be bigger than the other one. Yeah. 584. We did it. Time to let her go. Dworshak Reservoir, new personal best, 584, 20.5 incher. Take the big girl.
All right, I'm about to catch up with Brandon. I did get a text from him of a 20 incher on the bump board, real fat fish. So he's got something going. Once I got into to cell phone range, he called me and he's like, I just had the most crazy blitz that I've ever had for smallmouth, which I find hard to believe because like he's a hell of a stick for smallmouth up here in the Pacific Northwest, but it's pretty excited. He did get a personal best. I think it was somewhere north of 5.5 pounds. He says he has several over 5 pounds, and they were all suspended away from the shore. So I think I see him there. Is that him? All right, let's catch up with him and see what he has to say. He says he's still on top of him, so. Yeah, they're out, suspended out here. I should be casting, but I definitely want to hear what he is saying. Yeah, look at him. They're cruising around and eating. All right. Yeah, they're active. They're for sure on the move.
There's so many.
There's 2 more.
Eat it.
All right, talk to me, man.
It's been an unreal evening.
Yeah?
It's earlier it was 2-foot whitecaps on to this point.
Yeah.
I crossed over, came here, and I saw it. I was like, well, I saw some fish this morning. I was sitting just a little bit behind us, probably like 20 yards. I think it was first cast, got hit on the mag draft, missed it. I was like, oh man, cast it back out there, caught my personal best, 584, and then I went 20.5 inches.
Oh my gosh.
Took the time, went to the pocket to get some photos, measure it, and I released it, came back out, and it was back to back to back casts. I think off this spot I probably had 22 pounds of smallmouth. It was crazy.
When we go back, can I upload that footage just to include it on mine?
Yeah, so it was crazy. Not this glide bait, but a different one. Cast it out there, backlash, like in the midst of the flurry. Fixed the backlash, took probably 30 seconds. Pretty bad one with the wind. Yeah. And reeled up the slack. What do I know? I see the fish is down 20 feet of water with my glide bait in its mouth.
Oh my gosh.
The other ones are trying to eat it out of it.
It's insane.
Unfortunately, I didn't weigh all the fish today. I didn't do it till...
Whatever, you got a personal best.
Yeah.
585 is what you said?
584.
584.
20 and a half incher.
Oh.
And then I caught another 20 earlier. That was, I think it was like 480.
That's
something.
the one you sent me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And then a couple other 3.5, 4 pounders.
I haven't caught anything like longer than 15 inches today, so I'm gonna start casting.
Sounds good.
All right. It's hooked up again.
Fun size.
Nice,
Hook
man.
just down there. It's crazy. This one just not complete slack. I felt the tick and I was like, where's my slack?
Mag draft?
Yep.
Nice.
I mean, just full crease.
Yep, they're in there. So I threw the scented jerk shad, had one eat it, did a hero hook set, and snapped it off. And it's pretty light line that I've got on there because I know it's clear. I wasn't smart about it. And then I adjusted it and had it too loose. And missed one. So they're out here and they are gonna eat. You know, they do eat the scented jerk shad. All I'm doing is just kind of slow swimming it. Hey Brandon, you think you could dial that wind up again, please? He just went. Oh man.
70 feet out.
Yeah, I can see him under the dock. You can see the line there. Fish, fish, fish. Right there. Oh, I'm getting too close. Yeah. This thing's massive. Now I got mine. What a gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Yes! How cool.